You're such an asshole.
The old Claremeister here. 14 hours of sleep yesterday. I haven't even showered yet, and it's like 3 p.m. The old captain feels good. Went to the gym. Got the guns of Navarone, which are not actually that big. But for me, I'm in actually pretty good shape. For my age and for my life. All right, we got a Clarey test request on 2 people, Ann Coulter and Gavin McInnes. All right, and this comes from Joe requests. All right, let's take a look at Ann Coulter. I'm kind of curious about her because we all know who she is, but I do not know her background. And let's be clear about Ann Coulter. I'm not the hugest of fans, but she is not a conservative thought or a trad thought. This gal actually has intelligence. She actually has a personality. She has come up with her own thoughts, and if you've ever read any of her stuff, you're like, oh, that's original. Yeah, so she's a real deal. I do like her. I do not like the wannabes. Ann Hart Coulter, born 1961, is an American conservative social political commentator, writer, syndicated columnist, and lawyer. Oh! She appears here and there, blah, blah, blah. Born in New York City, Coulter was raised in New Canaan, Connecticut. She deepened her conservative interests while studying history at Cornell. Oh, no. So I smell she came from wealth. If you're going to law school and you're going to Cornell, I'm just going to say you came from wealth. Subsequently embarked on a career as a law clerk before rising to prominence in the 90s as an outspoken critic of the Clinton administration. Her first book concerned the Bill Clinton impeachment and sprang from her experience writing legal briefs for Paula Jones attorneys, as well as columns. She's an insider. That's the thing. She's always in that New York, Washington, D.C. Too bad if it got nuked by the Chinese. Oops. Maybe the rest of us real working people could move on with our lives. Coulter has described herself as a polemicist who likes to stir up the pot, blah, blah, blah. Early life. Wow. She's all right looking in 1980. Ann Coulter Hart, born 19... Blah, blah, blah. She was born to John Vincent Coulter, an FBI agent who was a native of Albany, and Nell Husband Coulter. Her family later moved to New Canaan, Connecticut, where Coulter and 2 of her older brothers were raised. She was raised in a conservative household in Connecticut by Republican parents, with a father who loved Joseph McCarthy. Coulter says she has identified as a conservative since kindergarten. To prep for arguments, she read books like Barry Goldwater's. All right. He was attending law school. I don't know if she came from money. I mean, they weren't starving. FBI agent is certainly compensated. But you know what? No, she didn't come from that much money. She wasn't poor by any means, but she didn't come from that much money. She wasn't spoiled. So now she doesn't get a point for being spoiled. She's not. I think she kind of, maybe Dad paid a little bit for her college. She went to a public high school. All right. She went to Cornell, graduated with a Bachelor's of Arts degree in history. Point against her. Received a Juris Doctorate from the University of Michigan in 1988. Now here's okay, we're 2 worthless degrees, so she gets a point against her there. She graduated from Michigan Law School. She does not get the baby boomer treatment where it's like any degree was a good degree. So if she goes into politics within the next 3 years, I'm sorry, you're a Barack Obama. You didn't have any real world experience. And I question whether you had any real intention to work a real job. She was an editor of the Michigan Law Review career. After law school, Coulter served as a law clerk in Kansas City for Pascal Bowman II of the United States Court of Appeals in the 8th Circuit. After a short time working in New York City in private practice, she specialized in corporate law. Coulter left to work in the United States Judiciary Committee after the Republican Party took control of Congress in 1994. So she maybe had 6 years sort of real-world working experience. And she immediately went right into went into the I gotta give her half a point. You get at least half a point. You had no intention of working a real job. You kind of sloughed it off. You were hoping to get employed in that New York, Washington, D.C., East Coast megalopolis insider group. You had connections. Your dad was an FBI. You get a half a point for that. So worthless degree, half a point for no real-world working experience. I will say that she does have some kind of real-world work experience henceforth, but you got to award a point because she wasn't going to do it. She wasn't going to go work at the coal mines. So, what was it? Worthless degree, didn't come from wealth. Sort of has real-world working experience. What's she doing now? She's doing real-world working experience. She's she's not collecting a trust fund. She's earning her own keep, and much as I may disagree with the type of work, it's kind of like someone who's an actor. It's like, well, I don't really consider that real work, but it is real work, so Ann Coulter gets a 1.5. Would I like to run for president? Obviously, or politics or government office. Yeah. I'd be a little worried that she'd be a little bit harsher on the social side. She's certainly not a libertarian. She's probably a little bit more conservative than I would like. She'd be worried about pot and whether, Joe is kissing Steve and stuff like that, which really isn't anyone's business. She might even continue the war on drugs, though I haven't read her stuff. But yeah, I prefer to have her than most people in Congress anyway. Would I like to have a beer with her? Yeah. She's got piss and vinegar in her veins, man. I would love to see. She's got a wit. Yeah, I'd have a beer with her. I'd hang out. I wouldn't be necessarily in awe, but it'd be cool to hang out with Ann Coulter. All right. Gavin McInnes. I really don't know all that much about him, but the more I learn about him, the less I'm impressed. Gavin McInnes. He's a Canadian. Yeah, look at this. He's like this conservative hipster. Born in 1970s, Canadian actor, writer, comedian, co-founder of Vice Media and Vice Magazine, and host of the Gavin McInnes Show on Compound Media. He is a contributor to Rebel Media and Tacky's Magazine. He was a frequent guest on television programs on Fox News and The Blaze. Since leaving Vice in 2008, becoming increasingly known for his right-wing political views, he is the founder of Proud Boys, a far-right men organization. I guarantee you it is not a far-right men organization. It's probably just guys who are okay with the fact they have a penis and they want to bang chicks. Early life. McInnes was born in Hitchin in Hertfordshire, England, to Scottish parents James and Lorraine McInnes. His family immigrated to Canada when McInnes was 4. He attended Ottawa's Earl of March Secondary School, studied English literature at college, and received a BA. Okay. He sounds like he came from money. Ottawa's Early March Secondary School. That sounds like wealth. Private school. No, it's a public school. Gavin McInnes' parents. What does his parents do? An article about parents, but not the parents itself. Let's go over here. Oh, it's Gawker? Why am I going to believe Gawker? James and Lorraine McInnes. Let's look these guys up. This is how we do it, so you know it's authentic. If you don't like it, go complain somewhere else. Gavin his appearance in the studio. They talk about Islam movement, cigarette ban. James McInnes. Oh, here we go. Guest list. Always got Laura Southern, of course. You guys just haven't. Well, what about his dad? Tell us about your dad, for God's sake. He's got to be kind of proud of his son, I'd imagine. I'm going to assume not. If he went to a public school, it didn't sound like he came from wealth, so he didn't come from wealth. He majored in worthless shit, though, right off the bat. As a teen, McInnes played in the Ottawa punk band An Anal Chinook. Wow, he's clever. Oh, boy, is he clever. Career. All right, so when did he graduate? 1991. He co-founded Vice in 1994. Tenure described the godfather of hipsterdom by WNBC and one of the hipsters' random primary architects of Adbusters. He occasionally contributed articles to Vice. You know, as much as this is like, yeah, he has a big point against him because he had no intention of working a real job. Entrepreneur, writer, comedian, actor. But you know what? The fact he founded Vice and the fact that he does work, it is real world working experience. I'm half tempted to give him half a point, kind of like I did Ann Coulter. But the fact he founded, had an entrepreneurial thing, I'm not going to. We can argue and debate about that. Like I said, I'm tempted to give him half a point for the lackluster. In 2009, McInnes convinced a journalist at the Village Voice that he had been knocked out after losing a challenge to an MMA fighter. Yeah, what is he doing? He's been doing the same stuff. All right, he has a worthless degree. He didn't come from wealth. Does he have real-world work experience? Yes. What is he doing now? He's working as an online well, not even a quite popular online media personality. It's real work. He does have real-world working experience. Point 1. Should he run for office? Yes, I would vote for him. Would I want to have a beer with him? Not really, no. That's the difference. It's like, and I'm going to be sounding so prejudgmental, it's the fucking hipster shit. It's like, oh, dude, were you a rebel, man? Hey, you started a punk band called Anal Chinook. Wow. It's shock value. You got, I'm sure he does great on the internet. I'm sure he's very entertaining. I'm sure he writes well. I just don't know. I'll talk to Jordan Peterson any day. And that's a guy that I think is slow to the draw. I'll talk to Stefan. Out of all the Canadians, I don't know what it is. Well, I know it's the hipster thing, but it's kind of, it's shock value. Does that make any sense? Like Coulter, you read her works, she means that shit. McInnes, I don't know. Yeah, he founded Vice. Vice is disreputable, even though he left it quite some time ago. Yeah, he's a hipster. No. I wouldn't want to have a beer with him. Terribly sorry. I don't hate the guy, just not that impressed with him. So, all right, that's it. You guys got questions? The old captain's got answers over at asshole.consulting.com. Hopefully, I'll be getting a new video set up. I know a lot of you wanted me to get a better video recording system, and I might just be doing that. I'll certainly be improving the light and the microphone, but it's not going to happen today or tomorrow. Don't. Oh, I thought you said. It's when I get my ass to Best Buy and I start plugging in shit. All right, that's all we got. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.